Picture this. With each fleeting second, a locale hidden somewhere in the corners of our vast world secures its spot in the dreaded Hall of Fame of the haunted. The stories you're ready to dive into aren't for the feeble of heart. In the obscure labyrinth of the supernatural, a haunted locale is more than an eerie scenery. It's a spectral stage where the past outweighs death. Whispers of past lives echo in the shadows. These places gain their frightful reputation through tales of heart-wrenching events or inexplicable happenings. They are not mere landmarks, but vessels of our history, offering a staggering glimpse into the lives of their past inhabitants. They affirm that history can indeed be eternal. Prepare yourself. We're to journey into the heart of the uncanny, the unsettling, and the downright terrifying. Buckle up as we transcend the barriers of time and fear to unveil the 10 most haunted locations that exist. We begin our spectral journey in 1829 with the Eastern State Penitentiary. This imposing fortress-like structure located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is steeped in history and shrouded in mystery. Its very design was intended to instill fear and penitence in those who found themselves confined within its walls. Eastern State Penitentiary was a pioneering institution in its day, leading the way in the concept of solitary confinement. Inmates were held in isolation, deprived of human contact and left to contemplate their crimes in the deafening silence. The only light in their cell was a small skylight, known as the Eye of God, a stark reminder to the inmates that they were always being watched. The conditions here were severe, harsh, and often led to mental deterioration. Many believe that the tormented souls of those who suffered within these walls have never left. Over the years, countless reports of paranormal activity have surfaced from Eastern State. Ghostly apparitions, disembodied voices, and chilling cold spots are just a few of the recurring phenomena. The most famous of these spectral inmates is perhaps the ghost of Al Capone, the notorious gangster who served time here in the late 1920s. Despite his relative comfort compared to other inmates, Capone was reportedly tormented by the ghost of James Clark, one of the victims of the St. Valentine's Day massacre. As you walk through the decaying cell blocks of Eastern State Penitentiary, you can almost feel the weight of its dark past. It's as if the building itself has absorbed the despair and anguish of its former inhabitants. Each crumbling cell tells a story, a silent testament to the harsh realities of life behind bars. Today, Eastern State Penitentiary stands as a haunting reminder of our past. It's a place where history and the supernatural intertwine, creating an eerie atmosphere that's hard to shake. And who knows, maybe just maybe if you listen closely enough you'll hear the faint echoes of a time long gone, the whispers of souls unable to find peace. From its crumbling cells we hear the echoes of a brutal past. Next, we travel to 1912, to a small town in Iowa. Nestled in the heart of Villisca, a quaint house stands, its white walls hiding a chilling past. Here, in the dead of night, 8 lives were brutally snuffed out by an axe-wielding phantom. The Moore family and 2 visiting children were found, their lives extinguished, the mystery of their assailant unsolved to this day. This unspeakable act has since imbued the Villisca Axe murder house with an eerie aura. Visitors and paranormal investigators alike report an array of unsettling activities. Whispers in the dark, children's laughter echoing through empty rooms, and shadowy figures moving in the corners of one's vision. Some have even claimed to feel a chilling touch, as if the spectral inhabitants are reaching out from beyond. Despite the passage of over a century, the Villisca Axe murder house refuses to let its grim history fade. In the silence of Villisca, the echoes of the axe still linger. From land to sea, we sail to 1936 aboard the Queen Mary. This colossal liner, a magnificent spectacle of human engineering, was once a beacon of luxury. But it wasn't all champagne and caviar. During World War II, she was stripped of her opulence and drafted into service as a troop ship, her decks teeming with soldiers instead of high society. Affectionately known as the Grey Ghost, the Queen Mary was a symbol of hope and fear alike. But it's not just her wartime exploits that give her a place in our list. The ship is reportedly haunted, with over 200 documented apparitions. From phantom children playing by the poolside to the spectral figure of a sailor who died in the ship's engine room, the Queen Mary's past continues to echo in her steel corridors. The Queen Mary, a vessel of luxury and a beacon for the lost. Her lavish halls and staterooms, once bustling with life, now stand as a silent testament to the tales of the supernatural. We journey back to 1863 to the blood-soaked fields of Gettysburg. Imagine, if you will, the deafening roars of cannons and gunfire, the sky filled with the acrid smoke of battle. This quaint Pennsylvania town became the stage for one of the Civil War's most significant and devastating conflicts. Over 3 grueling days in July, Union and Confederate forces clashed, resulting in staggering casualties with both sides suffering heavy losses. In the aftermath of the Battle of Gettysburg, the town was littered with the remnants of war. Bodies of soldiers lay strewn across the fields, and the once bustling town was transformed into a makeshift hospital. The air was thick with the scent of death, despair, and the harsh reality of war. It is said that places stained with such intense emotion and tragedy become imprinted with the echoes of the past. And Gettysburg, my friends, is no exception. Visitors to this historic town have reported countless ghostly encounters and eerie phenomena. Some claim to have heard the phantom sounds of battle, the distant boom of cannons, the sharp crack of muskets, and the desperate cries of wounded men. Others have seen spectral soldiers, eternally locked in battle, replaying their final moments over and over. The ghost of a Confederate soldier is often spotted on Devil's Den, a rocky hill used as a sniper's nest during the battle. It is believed he was one of the sharpshooters who perished there. And then there's the tale of the Phantom Regiment. It's said that on certain nights, a ghostly procession of Union soldiers can be seen marching through the fields before vanishing into thin air. These are but a few of the countless stories that surround Gettysburg. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, there's no denying the heavy sense of history that hangs over this town. It's a place that bore witness to the best and worst of humanity, to unimaginable bravery and unspeakable horror. Gettysburg, a place of valor and victory, of death and despair. As we move forward to 1910, we find ourselves in the chilling halls of the Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Nestled in Louisville, Kentucky, this formidable structure was initially built to house victims of the rampant tuberculosis epidemic. With its unique bat-wing-shaped design, it served as a beacon of hope, offering state-of-the-art treatment to thousands. Yet the dread of the White Plague hung heavy in these halls. As time wore on, so too did the sanatorium's reputation darken. Tales of mistreatment and experimental procedures began to seep from its walls. The infamous body chute, a tunnel used to discreetly dispose of the deceased, only adds to the eerie aura. Today, the sanatorium reportedly teems with spectral activity. Phantom footsteps echo in the corridors, shadowy figures flit across rooms, unseen hands reach out from the darkness. Some say the spirits of those who succumbed to the disease still linger, trapped within the sanatorium's confines. Waverly Hills, a place of healing turned house of horrors. We travel back to 1771, to the historic Fort Mifflin. Situated on the Delaware River, this fortress was a strategic stronghold during the Revolutionary War. It was here that brave soldiers held off the British Navy, buying precious time for George Washington's troops. But their sacrifice was not without cost. Many lost their lives, and it's said that their spirits never left. Visitors and staff alike report strange occurrences, unexplained footsteps, voices, and even apparitions of soldiers in uniform. Some say the spirit of a woman known as the Screaming Woman can be heard wailing in the dead of night, her cries echoing through the fort's old walls. The fort's history is steeped in bravery, sacrifice, and, some would argue, the supernatural. It's a place where the past doesn't seem quite past, where echoes of old battles and long-dead soldiers seem to linger in the air. Fort Mifflin, where the spirits of soldiers still stand guard. Our journey takes a dark turn to 1892, to the infamous Lizzie Borden house. Nestled in the quaint city of Fall River, Massachusetts, the Lizzie Borden house stands as a grim reminder of one of the most notorious unsolved crimes in American history. This is where the Borden family's story took a gruesome turn, culminating in a bloodbath that still echoes through the halls. On a hot summer's day in August, Andrew and Abby Borden, a wealthy couple of the town, were found brutally murdered in their home. The prime suspect? Their own daughter, Lizzie. The weapon of choice, an axe. The crime was nothing short of horrifying, the gruesomeness of which sent shockwaves across the nation. Following the murders, Lizzie Borden stood trial. Despite the circumstantial evidence pointing towards her, including her erratic behavior after the murders and the discovery of a burnt dress, the all-male jury acquitted her. The lack of concrete evidence and perhaps the inconceivability of a woman committing such heinous acts led to her release. This acquittal, however, did not clear her name in the eyes of the public. The shadow of suspicion followed her until her death, and the chilling nursery rhyme, "Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks," when she saw what she had done, gave her father 41, is a testament to the public's belief in her guilt. Those who dare to visit the Lizzie Borden house today, now a bed and breakfast, often report experiencing chilling paranormal activities. From hearing hushed whispers and seeing fleeting apparitions, to feeling sudden cold spots, the house seems to be a hotbed of otherworldly occurrences. Some have even claimed to see the ghostly figures of the Bordens, perhaps still seeking justice from beyond the grave. The Lizzie Borden house, a chilling monument to a family tragedy, continues to fascinate and terrify in equal measure. It's a place where the line between the living and the dead appears blurred, where the echoes of a century-old crime still resonate. The Lizzie Borden house, where family ties were severed forever. As we approach the end, we find ourselves in 1866, within the cold walls of the West Virginia Penitentiary. This imposing fortress-like structure, nestled in the quaint town of Moundsville, was once a place of harsh justice and severe conditions. For over 100 years, it housed some of the most hardened criminals. Its history is tainted with tales of brutal executions, riots, and escapes, earning it a reputation as one of the most violent correctional facilities in America. Inside these chilling walls, the air feels heavy with the echoes of its past. Visitors and staff have reported eerie happenings, from unexplained sounds to apparitions. The most infamous is the Shadow Man, a dark figure that lurks in the corners, forever trapped in this realm. The West Virginia Penitentiary is not just a landmark of historical significance, but a chilling testament to the harsh realities of the past. The West Virginia Penitentiary, where justice and judgment echo in the afterlife. We journey to 1890, to the tragic Lemp Mansion. Nestled in the heart of St. Louis, Missouri, this grand edifice was once the symbol of prosperity, the home of the successful Lemp family, famous for their brewing empire. But as fortunes rise, so too can they fall. The house bore silent witness to a series of devastating family suicides, 4 in total, spanning from the late 19th century into the early 20th. The specter of despair seemed to stalk the halls, marking the mansion as a place of sorrow and loss. Now it's said that the echoes of the past still reverberate through the mansion. Visitors report unexplained phenomena, flickering lights, cold spots, even apparitions. The sounds of soft weeping, a piano playing in the dead of night, whispers where there should be silence. The Lemp Mansion, a monument to wealth, woe, and the whispers of the departed. We end our journey in 1836 at the historic Alamo. In the heart of San Antonio, Texas, stands a monument of bravery and defiance. The Alamo, a mission-turned fortress, is a symbol of Texas's struggle for independence from Mexico. It's a story of courage, where less than 200 Texan defenders, including the legendary Davy Crockett and Jim Bowie, stood their ground against a force of several thousand Mexican soldiers. For 13 days, they held the line. Yet the battle concluded with a bloody dawn assault that saw the Alamo's brave defenders overwhelmed. The fierce combat turned the mission's chapel and courtyard into a slaughterhouse. It was a tragic end for those who fought with such valor, and their sacrifice is forever etched in the annals of history. But the echoes of that fateful battle of 1836 still seem to reverberate within the Alamo's walls. The place is said to be haunted, with countless reports of ghostly sightings and eerie occurrences. Visitors and staff alike have reported seeing spectral figures in period clothing, heard the phantom sounds of battle cries and musket fire, and even felt unseen hands touch them. Even more chilling are the tales of the spirits of the Alamo's defenders. Some claim to have seen the ghost of Davy Crockett, standing guard at the fortress he defended till his last breath. Others speak of a spectral boy, believed to be the son of one of the defenders, wandering the mission's grounds in search of his father. The Alamo's haunting extends beyond the fortress itself. In the surrounding area, residents have reported seeing ghostly soldiers marching in formation as if the battle is still ongoing. These spectral soldiers are thought to be the spirits of those who fell during the Battle of the Alamo, their souls forever bound to the site of their final stand. The Alamo, a place of bravery and bloodshed where the past refuses to rest. We have walked the halls of history and horror, and emerged from the shadows. We've journeyed through the echoing corridors of the Eastern State Penitentiary, felt the chill of the Villisca Axe murder house, and braved the spectral ship decks of the Queen Mary. We've trodden the blood-soaked battlefields of Gettysburg, faced the eerie emptiness of Waverly Hills Sanatorium, and stood firm within the fortress walls of Fort Mifflin. Our travels have led us to the notorious Lizzie Borden house, the grim confines of the West Virginia Penitentiary, the mournful rooms of the Lemp Mansion, and finally, to the brave and battered walls of the Alamo. Each location, steeped in its own unique history and horror, has shared with us tales of those long gone, leaving us with a chilling sense of their lingering presence. Remember, these haunted halls hold more than just stories, they hold centuries of fear and fascination.